right. So here we go. It is May 5th of 2021, also known as Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I like that. We didn't rehearse that.
We did.
So welcome everybody to EMP Review. I'm your host, Chauncey, joined by, of course, the amazing Chef Brandy. How you doing, Chef?
I'm doing well today, Johnson. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing well. And we're joined by the fantabulous EMP Drea off cam. We're going to have to pull Drea on cam one day without her knowing it.
We're going to have to get her there.
So if you have questions, comments, put them in that little chat wherever you are, and we'll handle it. Keep track of what Drea is saying there, and we're going to have a great time. And now, in honor of Cinco de Mayo, we got to talk about how you become an EMP member, Brandy. We got to talk about what this month is all about and how the theme of the month ties into Cinco de Mayo.
Okay. All right.
How do you become a member, Brandy? Tell us.
So, Entrepreneur Meal Plan is a community. You become a member of this amazing community of other entrepreneurs who are interested in feeding their mind, body, and business well with plant-based foods that powers their profits and productivity. Now, what does that mean?
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. You know you can't just do that like it was nothing. Say plant-based something.
Plant-based foods that power your profits,
productivity,
and productivity. Profits.
Okay, plant-based foods that power your profits and productivity.
Yes.
Ooh.
All of that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brandy. What are you saying?
My alliteration addiction. So what we do here is we offer meal plans, recipes, shopping lists, replays, and live cooking demos every week, quarterly community engagement events, regular events that help you to source your business, like help you to grow your business rather, and a community of other people who are doing the exact same thing, or at least on the same journey that you are on, trying to build a business that they're going to be well enough to enjoy when they get to some milestone thereafter. And all of this amazing, yummy goodness that we're serving will only require an investment of $30.23 per quarter.
Yeah, which is $120.92 a year. I like that one.
Yeah.
Now, Brandy, with that said, wonderful. We're enticed, and we're here to have fun. So this month the theme is, and this is always coming from the mind of Brandy, the theme is cool as a cucumber.
Ooh.
Now, there are all kinds of cucumbers, Brandy, that do all kinds of things. So what we're doing today, or what you're doing, what am I saying we? What you're doing is a very interesting little dish. We have an open falafel flatbread taco with tzatziki sauce.
Yes.
We're all over the globe here with that.
We really are.
I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be, Brandy. So go ahead, do your setup, and Brandy will be right back, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
or the fieriness of Cinco de Mayo. So literally, I just plugged in my, what's this called? I just plugged in my food processor, and literally the cord that it was attached to just kind of like went up in like celebratory sparks. So we are going to improv this tzatziki inside of my blender versus the food processor. So just give me a minute to just get my blender set up, and we'll figure that out. So 1 second, because I actually have something prepped in my blender right now, so I have to transfer it to another bowl so we can get this going. You know, you gotta love how entrepreneurship literally prepares you for almost anything. The ability to improv, switch courses really, really quickly on the drop of a dime. And yeah, like the journey can be crazy sometimes, but it really prepares you to just tackle life like a boss, as they say in the streets. So that's what we're that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. So like I said, give me a second. Just transferring my my celery puree to another container so I could make this tzatziki sauce in the blender. So I don't know if you guys know tzatziki sauce. Chauncey made a reference at the top of the show how this was literally all over the map. We're talking about a flatbread. We're talking about a taco. We're talking about tzatziki sauce. So tzatziki sauce is a Greek dish. Traditionally, you use yogurt for this dish, right? Traditionally, you use yogurt and cucumber. But, you know, in a plant-based space, we don't do dairy. And we could have totally just used like a plain non-dairy yogurt. But I thought it would be cool to play around with a plant-based, a more plant-based version of it. So using our good friend cauliflower as the creamy base, with the help of a little tahini and also a little hemp seed to give us some creaminess and also a little bit of that tanginess that we have in yogurt, that you're not going to get the flavor profile of that inside of the cauliflower. You're going to get the creaminess from the cauliflower, but not the tanginess. So that's how we combine all those together. So I'm going to rinse out my blender. Hold 1 second, and I'll be right back over to continue the conversation. All right. So, you know what I'm actually going to do before I start this right now? I'm going to just get the flatbread going, and actually made the flatbread dough right before we started. So this flatbread dough is really basic. If you were present or you watched the the sweet potato series, we made a flatbread with flour and sweet potato. Now this particular flatbread is literally super basic. It's literally just water and flour, which is the base of bread in general. You know, people add things like milk to it, oil, salt. You can do all that. You don't need to. We're not doing that here. So I'm just gonna make a little disc that I am going to put on an open flame so that it can start to cook down as we are making this tzatziki sauce. All right, I got nice little, I'm gonna put a little flour on it because it's sticking to my hand. A little flour, and yeah, bread, super simple thing. This is literally just a spelt flour and water. Still working through my spelt flour. This would work with any flour though. All right, make these mini tacos. So bam, literally circle, but throw the open flame behind me. Yeah, I remember the first time I started to explore making bread. It was really exciting to find out how simple bread making is and how many cultures use just what they have. So they take whatever grain they have, they mix it with, water, or sometimes they mix it with the fat that's available, and something as simple as a grain and a water has the ability to continue to feed a community of people that don't have that many resources. And it's so cool because I think it's something about the process of bread making that really makes the bread so much like different. Like the energy that goes into this bread is so different depending on where you get it. Like you could literally see all these cultures using the same ingredients differently, but the end product coming out in a very unique way. And I always kind of thought that was one of the cool things about making bread. So anyway, just sharing a little insight on my love of bread making and what it does. All right, guys, so give me a second. We are now having an alarm. I guess there's some smoke. Like I say, single. All right. It's like a party in here. We got sound effects and everything. Cool. So now I'm gonna take my cauliflower, dump this into the blender. I'm also going to take some tahini. Tahini, if you do not know, is a sesame seed paste, mostly used in hummus, but I use it a lot in just any type of plant-based food that I'm trying to get some creaminess factor to it. I'm trying to get like a kind of a tang into it because there's a bit of a tang to this whole thing. Put a little bit of hemp seeds in here. Now, I have hemp seeds. If you don't have hemp seeds, you don't have to use hemp seeds. You could actually use sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds work as well. You can also use cashews if you're not trying to stay away from nuts. So there you have it. Cashews are a really good solution to this one if you don't have hemp seeds. But like I said, if you have a nut allergy or you're trying to avoid nuts, then you could always just use a sunflower seed or, like I said, a hemp seed if that is available to you. I'm gonna throw in the juice of a lemon, because tzatziki. The thing about Greek food in particular, it's very fresh. It's very simple. They keep the flavors very, very simple. There's a lot of lemon in it, and so you always see that kind of showing up in the dishes. So it's not surprising that it shows up in tzatziki. In addition, what the lemon does in this recipe is gives us a little more of that tang that we're looking for, that we would get from a yogurt that's not available to us from a cauliflower. So that's that. So I'm gonna set this over on a blender to blend, but before I actually start blending it, what I'm gonna do is just chop up this cucumber. Now this cucumber that I'm using here is a hothouse cucumber. What is a hothouse cucumber? Hothouse cucumbers are those cucumbers that you find in a grocery store with plastic. I don't even know where this fire is coming from. Hold on. is always fun. Okay. All right, so hot house cucumbers are the cucumbers that you find in the grocery store with the plastic on them. Now, that plastic is what do you call it? The plastic is how you distinguish the hot house cucumbers from the other ones. And why they called hot house cucumbers? Hot house cucumbers are cucumbers grown in a greenhouse, hence the name hot house. And they grow all year round and allow us the ability to get us the same cucumber all year around. So that's just if you're looking for, I don't know, cucumbers that are obviously some with cucumbers aren't in season, so to say, but you want a cucumber that still tastes nice and fresh and like a cucumber. Hot house cucumbers, pretty much the way to go. The non-hot house cucumbers, they tend to be cheaper, but they're inconsistent based off of the region and the season. So just a little tip. That's what we're using with this. And I'm chopping up these cucumbers instead of putting them in the blender because the cucumbers play a role in adding the freshness to the dish and also texture. And this is cool as a cucumber, so we're highlighting the cucumber in this dish. Now, what I'm chopping up next to this cucumber now is a little bit of parsley, just fresh parsley. Now, tzatziki sometimes has fresh parsley, fresh dill. I've seen it with parsley, dill mostly, and also mint, which I'm also going to add to it. Now, mint is something that I feel we don't use enough, a lot, especially in like American dishes, so to say. Mint tends to be something that's associated with tea or associated with desserts. But I will tell you something really cool about throwing fresh mint into a dish. It just adds a nice layer of flavor. And I mean, as I'm cutting this, you can just smell it. It just smells so good. So you can just imagine how that shows up in your dish. And mint goes really well with just something that's creamy. It has the ability to carry it well. Now remember, mint does go a long way. The fresh mint isn't as potent as say mint oil, but you do want to not use as much until you kind of figure out your balance in your dish. So it's gonna get a little noisy, but I'm gonna cut the blender on to get the tzatziki base going. So hold 1 second for me. All right, just want to show you guys how nice and creamy this mixture of hemp seed, tahini, and lemon juice, and what is that good stuff that we put in the cauliflower? It turned out super creamy, so I'm going to pour it into the bowl. You can see it has like pull up closer to the camera so you can see. It has that creamy like consistency, like you would have in a like a yogurt. So you see that it's there. Also, I use frozen cauliflower in this recipe. So it was frozen cauliflower, so it was already a little cold. Just literally soaked it in a little bit of water right before I put it into the blender, just so it can not be frozen, but it's already cooked. So it's a little hack if you don't want to make cauliflower fresh. It might work well raw too, but I tend to use frozen for this one. So now we have our base. We're gonna put in the cucumber, a little bit of the parsley and mint. I'm also gonna add some garlic powder. And if you had fresh garlic, you could put the garlic in when you made the cream base. Stir that inside. Oh, and it smells so freaking good. That garlic and that mint and parsley in there really makes it super good. And I always wish with these virtual things that people could taste it in real time. Like, it's so amazing how you can build flavor into food. If you can figure out the texture and the flavor and put them together, like this has the tang of a yogurt, the creaminess as well. But because it is because it's cauliflower, it doesn't have the fat. Now, the addition of the hemp seed and the tahini does add a little bit, but it's definitely not as much if, say, you were going to use like nut-based or a coconut milk-based yogurt. So just something to think about. Now, about to bring over my very, very rustic flatbreads and some falafel that I prepared put them in the oven before we started. And I'm just going to break them up a little bit because, we're doing mini bites, so to say, mini falafel bites. And actually, Chauncey, before we started, referenced a tomato in our starting conversation. So I'm going to give him his dreams. His dreams are coming true today in the Entrepreneur Meal Plan Demo Kitchen. So cutting up some nice fresh tomatoes that I'm going to put on top of this. So literally nice little flat bread, our fun falafels topped with our creamy tzatziki sauce that is full of flavor and so much fun in your mouth. And then we're going to finish it with some fresh tomatoes. And I am going to find us some black pepper as well. I think that's going to be nice. Do I even have black pepper? No. Oh, we're just out here. My peppers disappeared. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with my go-to. Smoked paprika. Paprika's Spanish, not quite Mexican. We love smoky. Finish it with a little bit of that. That's fun. I'm gonna give it even more color on top. We're just gonna take some of this mint and chopped up leftover parsley just to take it up a notch. So here are our mini open face flatbread falafel tacos with tzatziki sauce. And I will clean up and see you guys in a second for questions.
right. So we're back. And you know what? What a great theme for the month. Cool as a cucumber, because Brandy, you were the embodiment. I was like, okay, you are like the MacGyver of the kitchen now. You've got to come up with all kinds of solutions. That was fun. Now, not fun for you, but fun for us. So, so let's get through the questions. And remember, if you are with us live and you have questions, type them on in and we'll deal with it. Speaking of which, MP Drea has a question, Brandy. Could you replace cauliflower? No, see, I was thinking of this too, Drea. Could you replace the cauliflower with squash or zucchini or something else? And I have another replacement question. Go ahead, Brandy.
What type of squash is the first question? Zucchini might be too wet to get that. It might be too wet. So if you were going to try zucchini, I would say soak it first. Like not soak it first. Let it sit first so that the water comes out of it. Drain that water out and then blend it up. You might be able to pull it off with that.
And which kind of squash do you think would be best? Delicata? Are you talking about, something else?
I mean, the color, you definitely wouldn't get the color with those ones because depending on the maturity of the squash. I think you could definitely get some creamy something, like some, like, I don't know, delicata squash hummus or I don't know if you would be able to get that. You know what? You probably, there's too much flavor. I'm just thinking through this in real time. There's too much. Those cauliflower is a perfect base because it's so neutral. Zucchini is a good option too because it's neutral, so you can build the flavor into it. Whereas with a squash, it kind of already has its own personality when it shows up, so it may be a little harder to have it like go to the background.
Okay, so another question. Let's just do mine that's similar. Could you swap the falafel for like beans or something else? Like if you didn't have falafel on hand?
Absolutely. Any type of bean. A black bean would go really well because, all in the theme. But you could do a cannellini bean. You could do a pinto bean. You could do a black-eyed pea. But a bean would be an amazing replacement. Or chickpea, considering that's the base of falafel, will be a great replacement for it.
Yeah. So, if you don't feel like making the falafel, get a can of beans, throw that in there. And we're ready to go. I mean, it looked great, though. I mean, it did look great. And I was just thinking, put some beans on that. Now, let's go to the Greek cuisine, shall we? What are the hallmarks of it? You mentioned fresh and simple, and you mentioned lemon. Are there any other things that are hallmarks?
Herbs. And I think when you think fresh, you think herbs. So like herbs, lemon, and I'm also staying in the plant-based space. I mean, there's a lot of like fish and lamb, things on a grill. So that's another hallmark, like grilled things. So you could grill vegetables, eggplants, like all zucchini, squashes, onions. That's pretty much it. A lot of fresh, clean stuff.
Cool. You said you used spelt flour. What's the deal with that? Spelt
flour is just an alternative. It's an alternative flour. It's a different type of grain. It actually is. It is a no wheat, but it is still gluten. It still has gluten in it. So I know sometimes people think that spelt flour is gluten free, but it is not gluten free. It is just not wheat.
Right. Yeah. There are other glutinous grains other than wheat. Ooh, whoa.
Yes.
Now, what about amaranth flour?
Amaranth flour, I've never used it, but I'm sure it'll work fine. Like especially in a bread. Like bread is really easy. Like I said, water, grain. Usually you come up with something just with that.
Yeah.
So whatever flour base, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I like amaranth flakes. Like if you want a little cold cereal. Now,
the grain is good too. If you've ever had that, the grain, the amaranth, the grain. Just if you use it as like a rice, it's kind of like a puffy rice with a little bit. It's a lot more bite to it.
Yeah, because amaranth does have a natural sweetness. That's nice. Let's stop talking about amaranth now.
All right.
Next question. Does it really matter which cucumber you use, or is it interchangeable?
It doesn't matter. Like there's preferences for cucumber. Like I personally am addicted or partial rather to my Persian cucumbers. I like Persian cucumbers because they're small. I could just eat the whole cucumber as like a snack. Like, oh, I just want food. Let me just go grab 2 Persian cucumbers and just eat them. And I think that the skin on the skin's softer. So like the traditional cucumber, I find that the skin is pretty thick. And so I don't want to use it like all the time. But the Persian ones, I feel like the skin's a lot easier. But flavor wise, as far as cucumbers are concerned, they all kind of taste fresh and wet and cucumbery. I don't know how else to describe cucumbers. I will say, depending on the crop though, cucumbers can be quite sweet. Sweeter than you would think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Final question. If you want to feature cucumber in a dish, how do you ensure that it's the star? Because like it's easy to have it disappear. So what could you do?
So one of my favorite ways to feature cucumber in a dish is the Asian cucumber salad. It is by far one of my favorite salads. It is just sliced cucumbers with ginger, garlic, rice wine vinegar, a little bit of tamari, hot pepper flakes, and just mix together and just you can eat it just like that. You let it sit for like an hour and everything kind of gets all yummy and mingly and stuff, marinade we'll call it. It is like really, really good. And you could slice a couple of, say, scallions into it or some thin sliced red onions just to kind of give it a little more, just to give it like a little more dimension. But but the cucumber is the star. When I'm talking about those scallions or those sliced red onions are about 10% of the salad versus 90% of the cucumbers that exist in that salad. And that's really how I say you highlight cucumbers. Now, they do have hot cucumber dishes that personally I'm not a fan of, but I think I'm not a fan because cucumber's always been cold to me. So I've had it hot before, but it doesn't really settle the same way that it does when it's cold.
Very interesting. So that takes care of today's business, but remind us, Brandy, what's going on becoming an EMP member?
Yeah, so Entrepreneur Meal Plan. Listen, Entrepreneur Meal Plan is all for entrepreneurs looking for food for their mind, body, and business. We serve up plant-based food, recipes to help make sure that you know how to make the most out of those plant-based dishes, shopping lists, meal plans, cooking demos, replays of the cooking demos, community events, business development events, and access to a community of people just like you who are committed to using plants to power their profits and productivity and ensure that they are well enough to enjoy all of the work that they're putting into building their businesses, all for a low investment of $30.23 a quarter.
Absolutely. And we will be back next week for our next EMP review next Wednesday, May 12th. And it's the same time we're starting. So that's 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. So as always, Brandy, thank you. Thanks to all of you for being with us. And we always sign off by saying do life and business well. Bye-bye.